I'm going to show you how to dominate your market by contacting hard to find, unsaturated prospects that you can't find in Apollo. By the end of this video, you'll know how to at least 4x the size of every lead list and do the same for your closed deals with cold outreach. You'll learn step by step how to find new people in your market, how to enrich them to find 4 times more contact information, plus 3 extra strategies to double your contacts depending on your niche. Now, off the rip, let's actually discuss the data points that we need in order to find contact information, in order to find all this unsaturated data. Well, in order to find contact information from most providers, what we're going to need is either at a company level, the website, or the LinkedIn, company level LinkedIn. And at the person level, at least a first name, but ideally a full name. And best case scenario, you get the website and the full name. Now, you can also enrich data via a personal LinkedIn, but I find those hard to find accurately. And in many cases, I think you're way better off and you'll find way more accurate data by doing the others. But that can be sort of a last resort. So what do we have here? Let's walk through step 1. How do we find that full name? How do we find those data points? Well, in this case, we got the initial data point of a website because we pulled from an external database, such as Clutch, but in this case, Y Combinator. These are Y Combinator funded companies. We also have the company name, and we took that list and we threw it into Apollo. Now, when we threw it into Apollo, we didn't find information for a bunch of companies, number 1, and we only found the initial information of 6 contacts. Pretty bad. Now, what can we do to actually find way more contact information of people we want to reach out to? Well, it's going to start with Claygen. And the beauty of it is that it's super duper cheap. It is 1/20th of a cent. So talking about efficiency. And basically what Claygen is going to do is it's going to go to the website of the company and utilize their first name for a bunch of Google searches. And it's actually going to go to tons of different websites that have publicly available data. This is your Crunchbases of the world, your PitchBooks that don't gate all of their data behind a paywall and therefore can be easily found and is highly accurate. It will also pull from websites. And in the case of startups, they love to put their team members on the website. So you're going to be able to find information there. And basically what it's done here in this case is it's found 3 names, but we're going to just focus on doing 2 names for the sake of this video and for the sake of time. And it did so using a simple prompt like this. Find the full name of any founder and all founders of this company. I'll let you read through this here. And basically it had some specific restraints on the output and how it was supposed to source the information. And it comes up with some pretty awesome results. You can see here that it actually found results across even the Apollo list that Apollo didn't have. Like several of these names are names that were not able to be sourced through Apollo. And what we did from there is we actually pulled this information into a new table. Now, why did we pull this information into a new table once we found it? So step 1 solved, we have websites, we have full names. Now we need to move on to getting contact information. But we don't want to enrich the contact information inside this table. Why? Well, if I went ahead and I decided to add an enrichment and use waterfall enrichment, which by the way, biggest takeaway guys, use waterfall enrichment. It is so powerful. But don't do it in this order because you're going to waste a ton of money. I'll show you on the next table the exact order that you're going to want to use in order to be maximally efficient while capturing as much data as possible. You can see here it's taking full name and company domain, and depending on the data provider you use, it can take some other data points as well. But if we did this, we would end up with a table where there's a bunch of emails in single rows that we can't upload to SmartLead or Instantly or really use at all. So what we need is each of these rows and each of these names to have their own independent row that we can then take action on to enrich. So what we do is we write to table. Now what write to table is doing is allowing you to pick a column and put it in a new column on a new table. That means that I can have a column called full name and take each of these founders and put them all into their own row under full name, while also taking all the other data from this table that I want, such as the emails we've already found that are verified, as well as first names, last names, titles, things of this nature in websites. So I'll show you what that looks like quickly for one. And then you run conditional formulas in order to make sure that you're pulling all of the data that you want by saying only run if blank has data, or don't run if blank does not have data. Either way, I think you get the point. So from there, I actually, for sake of not having a bunch of write to tables, I wrote these to table with a conditional formula that said, hey, if this name exists over here, do not bring it over. And then we move on to our new table. So step 2, enriching the contact information of all these new people we found, as well as enriching the contact information that Apollo missed. Those unverified, bad inputs, unavailable emails. We're going to find the contact information of those people because they matter too. And to do that, so we've written to this new table. Here we are. And we've done a waterfall enrichment. Now, when you go to do your waterfall enrichment, this is the order you want to be using. And I would say Prospeo and Find Email are generally interchangeable. And in fact, on this list, Find Email was way more effective than Prospeo, but in my personal experience, they're pretty interchangeable. Now, the beauty of this is that it's not charging you credits as long as it doesn't find anything. So as a result of that, you'll notice that the original waterfall enrichment had, Find Email, Prospeo, Didagma at the top when they are the most expensive. So instead, what I would recommend you do is you get an API key for Lead Magic. You sign up for Lead Magic. This is one of the cheapest data sources out there, and it's highly accurate, and it can do a ton of things in terms of enrichment. So get Lead Magic. Secondly, you can look at getting ICPs. And what we did is we put this in order from least expensive to most expensive. And the reason we do that is because if this contact information exists in here, Find Email, why wouldn't we just get it from a cheaper data provider, especially when all of these are going to be verified and validated anyway? When I validate as safe to send, and I ignore catch-all emails. However, if you wanted to get even more contact information, you can pull the catch-all emails as well and run those through Scrubby. But I find that very expensive and tedious, so I don't do that. So what do we have? We have the company name, the full name, and the company domain, all those great data points that I mentioned. And here's what happened. We were able to find contact information for someone we didn't have contact information for. We were able to find contact information for people that we knew existed already, such as this guy here, Craig. We're able to find contact information for all those new founders that we just found off the internet. And the reason why this is accurate and the reason why you don't have to fear the results that you found from Claygen here is because these people are going to be people that, because you're using the website in order to enrich the data from these people, if those names are wrong, they're not going to show up anyway. And if the names are wrong and they do show up, you can easily just enrich their information based on their email to find out if they are an ICP match for their job title. So what are we left with here? We're actually left with, instead of 6 verified contacts, we have 5 times the number of our lead list to 31. And it was through a simple process that took me maybe 10 minutes max to build out this table, to write to this new table. And now imagine this across a lead list that was 600 becoming 3,000. 3,000, 2,400 people that are far less likely to be contacted. You didn't have to go through the process of pulling these people through, a dozen different hoops, going from uploading your list to this platform, then this platform, then this platform, then this platform, download, upload. You're all able to do it all in one place, have it validated in one place, and come out neatly as a single row that you can take action on. You can add enrichments. You can find out if they're a B2B company. You can do all these things to qualify this list further or enrich data points. Now, what can we do beyond this? What are those bonus step 3, lesson number 3? How can we get even more contact information from here? Well, for all these contacts that we didn't find contact information for, we could consider using things like personal emails. And that's actually why I put People Data Labs at the end. So number one, we could consider finding personal emails. So in this case, these personal emails, I would not look towards using because it's a SaaS business. But when can you use personal emails? Well, you can use it if you're contacting influencers. You can use it if you're contacting maybe podcast hosts that only have general emails. You can use it when you're contacting really anyone that you pull off Instagram, real estate agents, things like this. And you can often use personal emails when you're contacting local businesses. So those are some niches to do it on. How do you get personal emails? Well, you can get them off of LinkedIn profiles, which again, you can use Claygent and searches to find. Or you can just pull data from People Data Labs, and you'll see here under this tab, which I'm not going to open, there would be the personal email of this Paul Giampuzzi. So that's one, and that can help you find a ton more contact information. Two, you can go to Claygent and you can have it scrape the prospect's website for emails found on the website. These will be general emails. You will want to validate them. But if, again, you're contacting a business that likely doesn't have work emails, for me, that's, game development companies, game studios, and oftentimes local businesses, you're going to be able to find the name of the founder in one place and then pull that general email and contact them, because most of these smaller businesses just don't worry about having work emails. It doesn't matter day to day for my lawn guy to have a work email. So that's number two. And number three comes down to another fatal flaw with Apollo. Have you ever gone to Apollo and uploaded a list of companies and it only came back, even though you gave it the websites, it only came back with maybe 70% of those companies existing? Well, all those companies that didn't exist, download that list, compare the data, and pull out all the companies that didn't show up in Apollo, those websites, and go through the same process. Find either the websites of those companies if you haven't found them already, which you can see a previous video I did for more information on that, for the company that we added a bunch of pipeline value to over the course of 10 days. And you can take those, 30% of businesses that Apollo is missing and do the exact same process we did here while trying to find those data points that you might not have, trying to find the website, trying to find the company LinkedIn, which can be done well through Google Boolean searches. Use ChatGPT to help you with this. So to summarize, find the full name of your contacts. Make sure you have it. If you don't have any contacts for a business, and you know the business's website and company name, find the full names of contacts using Claygent. Take those and write them to a new table to have their own independent rows. Take any emails you weren't able to find that are actually verifiable, validated, usable from Apollo, and run those through a waterfall enrichment along with all your new first names, and you'll be able to 4x, 5x, and in certain cases 6x the size of your lead list, and actually contact people that have not been contacted before. This I can't stress enough. The harder a contact is to find, the better your campaigns are going to perform. So use this to get your next handful of clients over the next 30 days, and let me know how it goes.